Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. My name is Sava. Of course, you all know this by now. And wherever you are in the world, a very happy Monday to you. It's the day after the game before, as I always say. And this was a good weekend. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. And this is a good one. And you'll hear me say this all the time. Being a Tottenham fan there is never a dull moment. Now, not because of what other clubs have when you've got the highs and lows of the Man Cities and the Arsenals and the Liverpools and the Chelseas, and sometimes they're not very good, but other times they're winning Champions Leagues and cups. Spurs is a different type of never being boring. Spurs is a constant in battle between fans. Even yesterday when Tottenham Hotspur win a game 4-1, rather than everyone being happy together, you've still got the I told you so's, the in the muds, all these children on the internet that keep saying about mud. What is it about mud? How can someone be mudded? Why can't we turn around and say, what a great win? Why can't we do that? What a great win. Tottenham Hotspur blew Aston Villa away. Let's be realistic. A challenger for top four, which is what we've got to aim for this year so that we go above fifth place of last year. Brilliant result, brilliant win. The players to a man were excellent. The manager got everything spot on. He was fantastic. His in-game management, absolutely brilliant. So I'll ask you this question. Why are we unable to just say, great win, on to the next one? Why are we famine or feast, to coin the phrase from the likes of Kuva and Ben, who will be on the show with me tomorrow? Why are we always famine or feast? Every win doesn't mean that every bad thing has been forgotten. Every defeat doesn't mean that there's not good things. Now, I've been very critical of this manager. I am critical of this manager. I think that 50% of the time, I look at it and I go, this is great. This is brilliant. This is what we want to see. The other 50% of the time, I look and I go, I don't recognise this Tottenham. And Iggy summed it up last night for me on Tottenham Away. He went big up Iggy, where he said, Tottenham are like two teams. We've got the home version of Tottenham Hotspur, where people like me, I feel comfortable. When we're at home, I don't really ever think we're going to lose. Now, yes, we lost to Arsenal. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I always think, okay, we can go a goal down against West Ham at home. We can go a goal down at home to Brentford. We can go a goal down at home against Villa. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not ideal. You don't want to keep going down. But I always feel like at home, the energy, the drive will see us through. Whether or not that's for 45 minutes or for 90 minutes is a different question. But I always feel it's going to see us through. Then to Iggy's point, on the other side, you've got this away Tottenham. And you've got this Tottenham where you look at it and you go, this is so unrecognisable from the Tottenham we see at home. What's going on? And again, there were lots of theories flying around. I watched on shows last night. Is it a player attitude thing? Is it temperament? Is it mentality? Is it tactics? What needs to be tweaked? I think probably, as with anything in football, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle of all of that. It's probably a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But again, what we can't do, and we seem really incapable as a fan base that haven't won anything for 17 years, we really do forget things very quickly. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Spurs have just had a magnificent week. We've beaten Man City. People can say what they want. I said it. I thought it was a watered-down City. I expected to get a result, but the result needed to be got. Man City still had good players on the pitch. We've beaten Man City in the cup. Tick. We've beaten Aston Villa in the league. Tick. And by the way, that was a huge win. Otherwise, we would have been 8 points off of Villa and 8 points off of top four. So this was a huge, huge win. But it's a great week. I've had loads of people messaging me overnight. I get loads of comments on my YouTube, reacting to my YouTube shows. And so many of them are rational. And you think, yeah, absolutely. People saying, look, really good win. Now we've got to kick on. Now we've got to see consistency, which is my favorite word. Now we've got to change the away form, and we're going to talk about that. The other 50% are so irrational, it's unbelievable. Oh, my God, you're in the mud. Okay, I'm not sure why. We're seventh. We've lost 4 out of 10 games. Yes, we've had a good week, but the bigger picture is it's been an okay start to the season. We are, if we're going to be brutally honest and we're going to talk about how amazing and we are and people are in the mud, let's have a look about the mud, shall we? I mean, let's be brutally honest. We're 1 point behind Chelsea, who I heard were terrible. I'm seeing that we're better than Aston Villa. We're below them. We're below Forest. We're level on points with Brighton and Hove Albion, who have a 31-year-old manager and keep losing their best players. We're 1 point above Bournemouth and Newcastle. So, look, I'm not saying it's terrible. It was our worst start to the season. That win yesterday has helped keep us up there. But we were one defeat away from it being a really, truly atrocious start to the season. So, for me, again, what I'm not doing is putting the team down. What I'm doing is sitting here saying, when as a fan base will we learn to just keep feet on the ground? And I'll show you what I mean. Brilliant win against Man United. Brilliant. Right. Sorry. Newcastle and Arsenal. 2 defeats in a row. Right. Then we beat Brentford and Man United. 2 wins in a row. Then we lose to Brighton. Then we beat West Ham. Then we lose to Palace. Then we beat Aston Villa. For me, again, you're probably so bored of hearing me say it. Consistency is absolutely everything. And I just think that you're never going to change some of these childish people on the internet. But I just think before we talk about people being in mud, first of all, I don't think anyone's ever in any mud. People are allowed opinions. Things change. Things move. Second of all, I'm not sure how when we lose, we're in the mud. When we win, we're in the mud. I'm not so sure what this new fascination over the last 3 or 4 years with mud is about. I don't get it. Yeah, it's every time Spurs lose a game, I don't turn around to people who predicted a win and go, "You're in the mud." You got your prediction wrong. You're not in the mud. But we're even getting to the stage where I predicted we'd beat Villa. Still people coming in going, you're in the mud. I'm not sure how. It's been a okay start in the Premier League. We've lost 4 of our 10 games, which needs to be addressed. Doesn't matter what people say, that needs to be addressed. It doesn't matter how many people want to go, but we shouldn't have lost this, shouldn't have lost this, shouldn't. We did. We did lose those games. The same way, the wins are wins, the defeats are defeats. So for me, I just think everyone just needs to calm down. Learn our lessons of the past where we've got carried away and keep your feet on the ground. Really good wins back to back, no doubt. I fully expect us to go and smash Ipswich. I fully expect another 5 goals to be put past Ipswich. But the test is going to be this. It's going to be the away form. Now, having bad away form versus very good home form is the difference between being a decent team, a very good team, or a brilliant team. And I'm going to show you what I mean. And at home, no one can doubt that we are a very, very good team. Let's have a look. Here is the home form table. If we look at this home form table so far this season, you can see only Brentford have got more points than Tottenham at home. Only Brentford. Brentford and Man City. We're level with the league leaders, Liverpool. We've got more than Arsenal at home. It's a fantastic home record. The only blip in that home record was the 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. That's brilliant. And all the while you're winning at home and relying on your home form, that's absolutely fantastic. Hats off to the players. Hats off to Ange Postecoglou. I know that lots of people watching this video won't hear that moment, so I'll say it again. Hats off to Postecoglou. At home, we are very, very good. We are bloody good at home. Now, this would have us being a brilliant team, except for this. This is our away form. Now, I'm not knocking Spurs here, but when you're... Let me just put myself to the side. Sorry, 1 second. Let me put myself to the side. When your away form is 14th and 4 points from 15, but your home form is so good with 12 points from 15. There's a clear disparity. There's a clear disparity there between, are we a really good team or are we a really good home team? So how do we get better? And that for me is constantly where I know a lot of fans want to get on my back, but I am someone who's constantly asking, how do we go from here to there, to there, to there? Not, oh, we've got brilliant home form. It's amazing. Yeah, great. We've got brilliant home form. How do we go the next step? How do we get in and around where Liverpool and Man City are? Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight. I don't expect it to happen overnight. Also, though, I don't expect our away form to be this bad. And again, if we look at this away form, we've got the same amount of points away as Everton. Right? We've got the same amount of, we've got one less away point than West Ham, than Bournemouth, than Newcastle, than Leicester, than Fulham. We've only got 2 more points than Palace. So for me, I truly think if that away form can get sorted, and by the way, again, I know what people will say. I've been doing YouTube so long, I can tell the reactions already. Do I think that we're going to win every away game? No, no one wins every away game. But can we turn 1 or 2 of those defeats into wins, or a win and a draw? Because that extra 4 points, suddenly, people, that extra 4 points would see Tottenham in third right now, just by winning one and drawing one of those 5 away games. That's all it would take. So for me, that has got to be the next step. Yes, maintain the home form. And I think we're going to for the foreseeable. We've got Ipswich at home next. And I'm purely talking league form here. At home, we've got Ipswich. I don't have any doubts in my mind. I've got 100% certainty Tottenham are going to win that game. It would be a disaster to lose it. We won't lose it. I think we will run out very comfortable winners. I just don't think they're going to cope once we get that tempo up. It may be a very slow start, like most first halves, like West Ham, like Villa. But as we get into the second half, I think we will blow them away. The next away game is Man City. Not many teams go to Man City and pick up anything. So from that point of view, you would probably say, okay, we're going to win our next home game and continue the home form. Probably lose the next away game and keep up the bad away form. So after that Man City game, I really think we need to start showing on the road a little bit more. And I don't think that's asking too much. I think that is the obvious trend that needs to happen for us to go like that. Now, listen, I'm critical of the players. I'm critical of the manager because I want better. I want what's best for Tottenham. And, you know, I'm seeing a lot of people over the last 24 hours. They put these fan compilation videos together. Apparently, I don't celebrate enough because I don't fall off my chair, because I don't celebrate goals by jumping up. I've never been that guy, I'm afraid. So if people want that, I'm not your guy. And, you know, if people want a YouTuber that just says everything is amazing, we're brilliant, I'm not your guy. I'm an honest person. We are 7th, which is fine, which is good. We're within striking distance, which is why yesterday's game, I said we had to win it. I said we were going to win it, and we did win it. But the fact that we're 7th now was so important that we won that game, because we are within striking distance of the clubs above us. Let me show you what I mean. And this, we put ourselves in a good position now. And that's why it was so vital to win. If we look at that league table, 2 points off of Arsenal and Villa in 4th and 5th. 2 points. Sorry, hang on. I don't think I've refreshed that. Sorry, there we go. Sorry, let me do that again. We are 2 points off of Chelsea, Arsenal and Villa, all on 16 points, all on 18 points, with Ipswich to play at home. It's so important we got that, because if not, we would have been on 13 points. Now the gap started to widen. So that was a massive win. Hats off. I thought, by the way, I'm going to say it. Credit where it's due. So anyone who knows me, any adults who watch me, I know we get really silly trolls and children. Any adults who watch me with a rational mind know I will praise when it's due and I will criticize when it's due. I don't go along. I saw a video from a Spurs YouTuber the other day saying Spurs fans should never criticize, just back your team regardless. Sure, back your team regardless, but does that mean lying? Does that mean then that YouTube channels wouldn't really exist, would they? Then you just have a lot of channels saying, yeah, great, lovely. Surely you want the debate. Surely you want to critique and talk about how we get better. So for me, I've never understood that, just say nice things. I don't think that works. Like, I mean, I think whoever says that has never been married. Imagine you just said, just say nice things to each other and your marriage works. Well, no, you got to work. Like, do you know what I mean? You got to work at a marriage. Same with your job. You got to work at your job. You've got to work at your fitness. It doesn't mean you just say nice things and the whole world is great. Sometimes we can critique. And that's why I started my YouTube channel. I want to have real football conversations. There are YouTube channels out there that don't want to talk football. That's great. They say things like, "Oh, you're not managers, so you can't have an opinion." Sure, then why have you got a football YouTube channel if that's the answer? Because none of us are managers. We're all here to provide a platform for people to talk football. So with this whole, you're in the mud, you're not a manager, you're an armchair manager. Again, we're all armchair managers, right? We're all sitting there since the test of time. We've all sat there as fans saying, don't rate him, we're going to win today. The only difference is it's now on the internet. It used to be at the ground. It used to be in the pub with your mates. Now it's on the internet where people want to cancel every opinion, where you've got fans who go from 1 to 100 with a win. One win against Villa, we are brilliant. And oh my God, everyone's in the mud. This is the best manager in the world and the best team. This time last week, we're losing to Crystal Palace, who hadn't won a game. And that's why, for me, you won't ever see me going, oh my God, this is amazing. Because we've been here, seen it and done it before. Consistency will be what changes my mind. Not in the League Cup, not in the Europa League, beating weaker teams. The consistency in the Premier League will be what changes my mind to say, yeah, we're really, truly going in the right direction. Do we play some great football? At times we do. Do we play some turgid football? At times we do, like most clubs. It's not always pretty. It's not always roses. Do I think that Ange is doing a good job? I think that Ange is probably doing what he should do, maybe a little bit below. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I think the away form needs to raise for me to say he's doing a good job. Is it the worst job I've seen? No. Is it brilliant? No. Consistency. That's what it is. And unfortunately, if you are rational and if you ask for things like consistency, you're called negative. I've never understood it. Let's take a couple of players, for example. Dominic Solanke and Sarr. I've been critical of both of them over the years. Both had fantastic Well, Sarr, I thought, had a brilliant 90 minutes. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was our man of the match. Solanke, for me, non-existent first half. I thought he had a brilliant second half. Now, most people will go, that's what we want to see. Really good half that. What most of our fan base saw it done, you're in the mud. Look how great Solanke is. You don't know anything. He's brilliant. Whoa. Sure. But when are we going to judge these players based on doing it over a year? 6 months minimum, doing it 6 months to a year, consistently performing. Because that, again, is the difference between being here and being there. Players like Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, these players are Haaland, De Bruyne. We could go through all these top players in the league. These players are judged every week. Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, because they do it every week, consistently, week in, week out. At Spurs, what we have is we have a lot of players, and we've seen this for years. By the way, again, just because people won't listen, I thought Sarr was phenomenal yesterday. He was brilliant. But then I see games where Sarr, I don't realise he's playing. And for me, you've got to take what we saw yesterday and make that the norm. Now, I'm not saying every game you're going to be phenomenal, but every game, consistency. And we've done this over the last 3 years with Bentancur. We see a good game, we see a non-existent game. But when he has a good game, not just him, by the way, him, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Kulu, when these players have a good game, our fans lose their mind. Oh my God, they're the best in the league. We start doing videos convincing ourselves that this player is the best in the league. This player is the best in the league. This player is the best in the league. But yet, we don't win anything. We're not consistent. So these players can't be the best. I've seen it for years. I had it with Winks. Winks would have a good game. He's brilliant. Spurs fans don't know what they're talking about. Then he'd have 2 games. You don't notice him. He's rubbish. Sell him. We saw it with Sissoko. We saw it with Tanganga. We saw it with Davinson Sanchez. We saw it with Eric Dyer. We saw this with Ryan Sessegnon, Emerson Royale, Eric Lamela, Nasser Chadley, Stephen Bergwijn. I could go on, Lucas Moura. I could go on and on and on. They have a good game and everyone goes from 0 to 100. They have a bad game, that 100's gone back to 0. For me, Why can't we say, listen, brilliant game yesterday, Solanke and Sarr, but it's one game. Let's go again. Let's go again. Let's, over the next 5-10 games, let's see Solanke start grabbing goals every game. You know what I mean? It's not going to be every game, but let's start seeing that goal ratio go up. Let's start seeing that more often than not. Yeah, I mean, that's all I want to see. If that makes me a bad fan, I'll take it on the chin. But for me, I like to think I'm somewhat rational, and I just want to see some consistency. And this word gets used a lot on my channel because it's needed. We've had 17 years of highs and lows, ups and downs, praising players that shouldn't be praised, berating players that shouldn't maybe be berated. But every time we have a good win, it's why other fan bases kind of laugh at us a little bit, because we don't learn. For me, let's see, over the next 7-8 league games, let's see, do we stop that win-lose, win-lose, win-lose? Do we get 5 wins in a row, 2 draws and a defeat, and you go, right, from our last 8 games, we've only lost 1. We've taken 17 points and lost 1 from 8 games. Brilliant. That's what I want to see. Surely that's what all of us want to see. So for me, I just think we need to mature a little bit sometimes as a fan base, especially online, and stop all this nonsense. Someone messaged me this morning, and the first thing they said to me, Sarr has proved you wrong. Proved me wrong about what? When fans say this, what does this mean? Does one game prove somebody wrong? A boxer who doesn't win very many fights but gets a lucky punch and knocks someone out, have they proved you wrong, or is it a lucky punch? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like we just need bloody consistency. And I just think when fans message me and say things like, you're in the mud, blah, 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 you don't celebrate enough. What are we doing here? I'm a 42-year-old guy. Do you want me screaming and falling off my chair? I watch some of the fan watch-alongs back, and some of the reactions are so fake. Is that what you want? Is that what people want? They want me falling off my chair, throwing my hat on the floor, screaming, shouting. That's not me. There are really good content creators that do that, and that's their thing. For me, I'm a little bit calmer and level-headed than that. So look, for me, to wrap it all up, the away form has to improve. The home form just has to stay consistent. So the home form, keep it going. The away form, got to get better. Massively got to get better. 4 wins in 19 away games tells you we've got to get better away from home. Now, are Spurs going to win the league? No. Are Spurs challenging the top 4? Why not? Is it going to be a tough battle? Of course it is. Of course it's going to be a tough battle. You've now got Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Spurs, Brighton, Bournemouth, Newcastle, all there at the moment. Some of those will fade away. Forest, I would expect, will probably fade away, but have had a brilliant start. Some of these teams will give us a great battle. And it's up to us to make sure home form alone won't see us fourth. You're going to have to get some good away form throughout the season. 1 away win in 5 isn't going to be enough for an entire season. On average, that works out at just below 4 wins away from home a season, and that's not going to do it. So again, people tell me, we're going to get Champions League, we're going to do this, but then they have a go at me for calling out what will help us get there. So guys, girls, brilliant week. We've got Galatasaray this week. That's going to be really difficult away from home. Let's see what team he puts out. We've got injuries coming out now. We've got Van der Ven, Romero, Richarlison's injured, Odegaard's injured, Spencer's injured, but not in the squad anyway. Let's see what we do. For me, we're going to beat Ipswich. I don't think we're going to beat Man City. Stranger things have happened, but I don't think we're going to beat Man City at Man City. But after that, let's start seeing. I don't want to start judging this off the back of a Man City away game. After that, can we kick on? Let's look. Just quickly before we go, let's look at our away games after Man City, shall we? So after Man City, where are we? Sorry, I'm just going to check this. Sorry, my thing's got it backwards. Our away games. Sorry, let me do this on my app. It'll be much easier. So Tottenham's away games. Tottenham's away games coming up after Manchester City. This is okay. So we've got Bournemouth away. Tough place to go. We've seen City and Arsenal lose there. Okay. After that, away at Southampton. Those are the sort of away games where no excuses. You've got to go and win there. This is a team battling for their Premier League survival. You've got to go there and get that away win. Then our next away game after that is Nottingham Forest, who are flying at the moment. But again, these are the sort of statements you have to make. After that, the next away game is Arsenal and then Everton. So it doesn't get any easier, but we've got to find a way to get some away form on the table, right? Otherwise, the pressure you put on yourself every week at home is huge. And that's fine. When you're winning and rattling off the home wins, win, that's fine. But if you don't do well away from home and then you slip up at home, it can be tough. So listen, definitely some green shoots there. Definitely some things there that have made me go, okay, Ange, all right, yeah. Okay, I take a few little things back. You have started tweaking well in some games. Again, I thought man management at Palace was awful. Man management yesterday, I thought was brilliant. The tactical management I'm talking about I thought was awful last week. Brilliant this week. So again, I'm happy to say it. I'm old and ugly enough to say it. You know, let's see more of that, Ange. And then I sit there as a fan, I turn around and go, do you know what? Everything I've asked from this manager, he's done. I'm not there yet. Because of the away form, because of the erratic Premier League form, win, lose. But yesterday, games like that give me hope. Games like that do give me hope. Hope for what? That's a different question. Guys, girls, I will be back live tonight at 6:30 for Debate Sava. You can come on, just have your say. You don't necessarily have to disagree with me, but you can come on, have your say about Spurs, pick a topic. We'll talk about it. We'll debate it. Or we'll agree on it, depending on what the subject is. That will be live at 6:30 tonight. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you very much for everyone who tuned in yesterday. And as always, come on, you Spurs.